We will be reading the actual newspaper articles from 1895. Today's issue is September 21st, 1895. The bluff worked. There are many things which keep an editor's life from becoming monotonous. The scenes which occur in the office of the country publisher are all the way from thrilling adventure to farce comedy. Often there will be many of these plays in a day. The man who has been mentioned in some unfavorable way always thinks he must call and leave a threat or a black eye with the editor. The fellow who has tried to impose upon the public and got roasted is sure to visit the sanctum immediately after publication. He will intimate that he is a bad man and that his cayuse blood will be up if the editor should speak of him again. Then he will not be responsible if he should commit murder. On the other hand, the sensible citizen and the politician, after receiving special notice by a paper, visit the editorial rooms and tender thanks for kind consideration. They pay such compliments to the writer as the occasion allows, and a lasting friendship results. The bully never scares an editor. He only arouses combativeness, and then beware. An editor will not fight unless he is forced to do so, but when he does uncover the hatchet, the other fellow generally gets it where the chicken got the axe. In this connection, however, it is well to remark that a publisher who makes a mistake should correct it as soon as possible. If he does not do this, he is neither a gentleman nor a citizen worthy of his place in the community. Here is an odd letter which came to the Gazette office this week from a subscriber who failed to get his paper. Eureka Junction, September 1895. Editor Gazette. I subscribed for the Gazette sometime last fall or winter. I failed to receive my paper regularly, so I called at your office and entered a complaint. Sometime after this, the paper stopped altogether. Being in town one day and a little out of humor, and not out of fight, I thought I would drop in and run a bluff on the editor, knowing that editors had to take more or less abuse. I decided to commence easy, and if the editor showed fight, I would let up, otherwise I would give him a raking. So I went in and found a man in the middle of the room doing some kind of work. I talked to him, and he just stood and gazed at me without saying a word. Thinking my bluff was working so well, I gave it to him as hard as I could without using cuss words. I said all the bad things I could think of, and the fellow took it in good part. I thought I had scared him till he was speechless. Just at this moment, a lady stepped forward from the crate of type and told me that the gentleman I had been addressing was both deaf and dumb, and did not know a word I had said. Fearing that she would tell the man how I had berated him, and that I might get thrown out of the building, I made a rush for the door, but the lady was kind and called me back. She wanted to make everything right. She explained that the management had been making up some new mailing lists and that my name might accidentally been dropped in that way, and that she would see that I got my paper regularly after this. Then she flew around and loaded me down with enough back numbers of the paper to paper our summer kitchen. After this, I got the Gazette 2 at a time. Miss Kaufman announces fall opening days, September 18, 19, and 20 for pattern hats and bonnets, large sales and small profits. Don't forget the place, number 20 East Main Street, White Front, Walla Walla. Burglars are burgling. Crooked crooks, plentifully provided with the paraphernalia of their profession, seem to be touring the country hereabouts. Recently, 2 burglaries have occurred, one at Waitsburg and the other at Weston. Last Sunday morning, between 1 and 2 o'clock, the safe of the Waitsburg post office was blown open with powder, and the plunder consisted of $40 in money and stamps. Several persons heard the explosions and arose from their beds but made no investigation. At Weston last Wednesday night, the safe of the OR&N depot was wrecked and looted. The usual small but effectual hole was drilled in the safe door and powder inserted therein. The door was almost blown to pieces. All the robbers obtained was $14.18 in money belonging to the Pacific Express Company. The depot is located nearly a mile from town, and no one heard the explosion. Attendance of the first week of our schools betokens a successful term, and while we are glad to look upon the familiar faces of old students, we are much pleased to welcome new ones. We are sorry that a bright sun could not have greeted their arrival among us, but trust that the sunshine of the homes as they enter will more than compensate for the clouds outside. American Women Independent. American women are the women in the world who do not by their dress indicate whether they are married or single. Of course, those who follow in the wake of European etiquette would not appear without their daughters wearing a hat without strings. But the universal American woman buys what she likes, regardless of whether it be matronly or not. And what is worse, her daughters will select articles of dress only suitable to married women. In no other country is this the case. The independence of American women of today is something that the balanced of the civilized world look upon and admire, and down deep in their hearts wish that the social form as regards to dress were not so stringent in their country. 20 years or even 10 years ago, if a woman was to be seen riding astride, they were classed as very mannish and forward and must be kept at a respectable distance. Greater still has been the emancipation of women of Paris, and today a traveler can see a number of women in knickerbockers and short coat jackets on promenade. The more conservative look at them from the corner of their eyes and wonder how they could be so bold. But the time has come when women in general have become indifferent to the comments that may be cast at them as regarding their dress.